It's only a model. Shh.
We're knights around the table, not round the square or triangle. We come to hang and have a game on Fridays as we're able. We play well here in Camelot, we are chums and fun, but Camelot. We're knights around the table, our host is formidable. He runs a strange, often insane, but sure he's quite unstable. He's hobby mad in Camelot, but seems never to have done a lot. Quite incomprehensible, blue wrenching, and we have no plan but to sit and hear Dodge babble. It's a lazy time in Camelot.
I have to shake my bum a lot.
And see it, you'll love it, and it falls on in the best possible way.
Well, hello, the few, the unexpected. I was doing this private and then thought I would click live just to see how it's going. As the intro says, I've completely changed the internet in my house after, well, geez, if you count my father. We've been with this cable company 55 years and as an internet company for over 30, and we finally got talked into the company that does our cell phones, Verizon. They gave us a nice permanent deal that basically is saving us about $150 on our cell phone and internet combined over the cable company, because we got rid of our cable TV, but we kept them for internet. And my daughter works for our former internet provider. Joyce's brother is a big shot with our former internet provider, but we finally got talked into it. But I have still been using it for my live stream, and we're basically at a point where we had to get, so we don't have to pay the next bill, we have to get rid of the old internet. So today I've been rewiring and taking out the old cable box and router modem and putting in the new system and seeing if it will upload and work at the way my thing works and uploads. And unfortunately, I don't have, because I started this as private, OBS, once you go public, OBS does not give you the chat doc any. So I'll have to check over on the other computer there and see who's here. Let me see, participants. So, hello, Lee, who says he's putting up another video. David Woodall, thank you for joining in. My Lord Al, Sir Al, thank you for coming in. Sir Gareth, nice to see you. It's been a long time since we've had you join the chat. Good friend, Sir Dino, and Steve Childers. So I won't be on very long. I just want to go about 20, 30, 40 minutes just to see how stable this connection is, because it is a new internet, and I was hardwired into the modem. Now I'm hardwired into the new router, but the new router is upstairs, and I have a wire that runs through the floor and the ceiling and drops down here, which I've connected. And I've just spent a large part of the afternoon resetting all these computers down here. My Central Station 3, I had to reset its internet information, which didn't take too long, but you got to make sure it's there. Hey, Andy81 and Anthony from Choberton, Sir Anthony and Sir Andy, thanks for popping in. So like I said, I've just been setting up trains for the Friday live stream, but I just want to see if this will stay stable. Well, hello, Yawzer. Long time no see. Welcome in. So, I'm not doing Streamlabs. I do OBS. Streamlabs, I could put up a link and let you guys join in and chat. But, like I said, I'm just here to babble, or you guys can throw questions or answers at you. You're currently on the high-speed line Dover to London. Well, if it's a high-speed line, that probably doesn't take very long, does it? 2 hours, maybe? Hour and a half? Hey, Sarandel, how are you? So, I am just going through and making sure everything's working. I don't want to give away too much of what I'm running on Friday, but, I mean, it's all listed. But, it's especially when you have what I have, it's very hard to change. Do not like change. And worse, my daughter has autism much worse than I do. And she's, you know, I announced to her today, when you come home, nothing is on the old internet, because she had a laptop computer and her video games were still on the old internet. And I was like, it's all gone. The old modem is disconnected, so I have to take this back. I can maybe take it back tomorrow morning, but I think Friday. But we'll see. Or maybe when Joyce comes home, we'll take it back this afternoon, because they have evening hours. We can take it back, and for the first time in many, many years. All right, Dave, well, you got to get ready for work. You got your new ICE 4. I caught that, so enjoy it. I little disappointed in the pulling strength of my big IC 84. The new one is only pulling 5 cars, so I don't know if it's going to... I think Miraklin needed to put stronger motors in them. So let me just go to some of the cams here. I want to do the multicam, because that's the biggest eater of things. But yeah, so far everything is stable. Everything is good. A couple of my cameras are probably going to be out of whack, because I bumped them while I was messing around with stuff today. David Atkins will be... No, Dino, I have not sorted out my ICE3. The only thing I've learned is that there doesn't seem to be a wire loose. So either the motor's going bad, or I'll have to make an adjustment somewhere. David Atkins will be at Getz. Okay. I know the name, but I forget what channel David Atkins does, or is he just David Atkins? Just finished filming episode 26 of Fredo Bagino, the 4th. Yeah, let's see if I scroll through the cameras. That one got bumped, so I need to level it out. It's got that Batman tilt to it. I always say that. I don't know if anybody remembers the old 60s Batman show, but whenever they showed the villains, they always showed the villains with the camera slightly tilted to create sort of a off-kilter bit. Yeah, I saw your video, I think it was this morning, Alan. Very cool. Wow. You've had a lot of visitors lately. A lot of visitors lately. And Timber Surf, you posted a picture of the one gentleman, but I don't think you posted a picture with you and Timber Surf, or did I blink and miss it? Because Timber tends to try to prevent people from posting his image for some reason. Please run a train around. Well, I don't even have them set on the controller yet. Which one is which? The 218 is on 3, so... is... I don't want to run the Railjet today because I don't like to run them too much. But this guy can handle it. Then who's on 4? Oh, yeah, that's... I'll run a couple. I'll run the 2 freighters around. Since I haven't done the test yet. Oh, hang on a second. Ah! And bam. Okay. Well, you can see what happened there. One of the cars was not set right. And Murphy's Law, that stuff always happens the furthest from my reach. Isn't that always the case? The hardest place to reach. Come here, guys. Can't quite reach them with the computer and everything here. There we go. Wonder why he was spinning his wheels there. Fortunately, I do have a long reach, but even that's too far without going up through the middle of the table, which I only do in emergencies. So see, these are little things you don't see happening. Usually on Fridays. Occasionally I have something go wrong on Friday, but this is one of those little things you don't see because I usually test run them in. So if something like that happens, I catch, oops, I did that wrong. Come on back. Come on. Well, hi, Jason and CMD. The closest you'll ever get to shunting. That 648 is moving. All right, what are you hitting there? Well, I'm going to have to figure out what that is. It keeps making a bump on this one point. Well, it seems to have fixed it now because that time it did it smooth. Anyhow, what's the chat saying? Anthony's trains turned into manual movement. Yeah, well, the again, I'm not planning on being too long at all, but usually this is what I do Wednesday evenings. I change out the trains and test run them to make sure there isn't a problem or that a loco isn't acting up. Sometimes a loco decides to wait until the live stream to act up, but we all have that. So John is here. Sir John is Mystic here. Sir Tom Houston, hello. Yeah, you know, I probably should check to see if I'm on the correct mic, but it looks like it's going correct. Hopefully. Oh, this is going to be fun. Why are you uncoupling? What's going on with you two? Well, one person says the audio seems a little low. The other person says audio's good. So, you know. I have to change a coupler on that one. So yeah, I've got two freights running. I don't need much audio enhancement. My voice carries. I could probably turn my mic off and most of you across the world would hear me if I decided to talk loud enough. I used to have to give speeches in the school gym at times because the students would be lousy and my voice would carry over everything. The students would be loud. I shouldn't say lousy. They could be lousy too, but we'd have big meetings with the students in the auditorium or the gym, and Mr. Dodge, could you go out there, please? And I'd just take my voice and go, all right, everybody sit down and shut up. That usually got it quiet fairly quick. So I don't know if that, I don't know what to tell you about that, Mystic. Other than maybe the speaker in whatever you're doing is going bad, or if you got earphones on plus your device, the device might be high and the earbuds could be turned down low. Yeah, I got asked many, many times to go into administration, and I always refused. It would have meant more money, but not my thing. I'm a grunt. I was a classroom teacher. I could have done many things. I actually started my educational time. Well, actually, in high school, I was all set to go into law. And then when I got the West Point Commission, I changed some things. I stayed with my languages. And then when I left West Point, I had to think about what I really wanted to be and who I wanted to be. And a lawyer wasn't it. I mean, everybody who knows me says, you would have made a damn good lawyer. But my heart wasn't, that wasn't where my heart wanted to go. My heart wanted to be a writer. But I met Joyce, and that changed a lot of things. And so the thought was, who's wrong for what? Well, hello, hi. Sir, hi, I should say. But see, it's not Friday, so I'm not in the Knights of the Rhomboid mentality. Like I said, this is just a test with the new internet and not a drop frame. I've been going for 22 minutes, not a dropped frame. The CPU actually is running a little bit lower, which is good. You know, normally I'm at, when I'm doing the live streams on Friday, I'm normally running 16 to 18% on my CPU with all the cameras on, and it's been running 12 to 14. Why changing the internet has made the has my CPU running a little better, I don't know, but there it is. Yeah, that's probably true in a lot of jobs, Jason, is the higher up you go, the more stress you got to, the more you have to please. When you're a worker, you got to do your job. In a lot of management, you become the guy that the owners go after, and they put the stress on you to make sure the workers are doing their job, blah, blah, blah. To some degree, that's true in education, but for the most part, a lot of the workload in administration is less than a teacher. You're not, you go in and do your job. You go in and work. For example, if you're a dean, now again, to some of you from other countries, in America, we have deans that are the heads of a college. The dean of the College of Engineering, the dean of the College of Mathematics, or whatever, the dean of Applied Sciences, the dean of Foreign Languages, etc. But in American junior highs and high schools, a dean is in charge of discipline. They're the ones you have to go see if you've been naughty. So, and then there's also counselors, deans, and then you have vice principal in charge of curriculum, vice principal in charge of activities, blah, blah, blah. Now, the vice principals have a lot to do because they're in charge of after-school activities and events, so they have a lot of work. But the deans and the counselors, they can usually work their 8 to 3 instead of 9 to 5. They're 8 to 3:30. They might have meetings after work, but they don't have to go home and do a lot. They don't, everybody takes their job home with them up here. But when you're a teacher, you're taking all the papers home to grade. You're taking, you've got parents to call. You've got new textbooks you have to adapt. You've got new communiques from the State Board of Education that you have to, and new guidelines and new course of study that you're constantly doing. And you have to attend meetings, and you have to do all the state required BS. So technically, when you move up in education, you have less work. More pay, less work, because they think your job is more important, because teachers are, anybody can teach. Exactly. Well, hello, Todd Armstrong. Welcome into this undeclared, non-normal live stream. This is just a test live stream. I'm not going to be on very long. I've switched out my internet for the first time, and now that I've got the new internet set up down here, I am just seeing if my stuff, I was doing it private, decided to go live just to see if that would affect anything, but apparently not. Everything's good. I'm very, very pleased. I'm not going to run all my trains because those will run on my Friday streams, but I do have to test run a couple of trains in, but I don't want to do an hour, 2 hours with these guys running, because they'll run 3 hours on Friday. So usually I just give them 5 to 10 laps each and go, okay, they're good. The mustard and brown. Let me see if I can pull up. Probably 11 lanes, the best view. We'll just have to wait for it to come around again. Like that one right there, I don't think that's the one you're talking about. Unless maybe you think, is that the one you're talking about, the one that just went around? That was it. All right. Well, I'll stop it next time through. Because it's actually Black and Flames. But yeah, in this camera, you can't see it. It's going fast. Stop. Here. Stop. 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 There we go. Now you'll get a nice clear view of it. It's actually on fire. It's a company called TX Logistik, or in German Logistics. And it's a subdivision of MRCE, which is a big train freight transportation. What company, sort of like Wacosa, I think would be a good example. Wacosa makes, railroad related or buys locomotives and cars and then rents them out, or lets them out to other companies. Anyhow, this is actually Flames, and it's the TX Logistik, and it says, "Wir brennen für das, was wir tun." We're burning we're burning to get to work. We burn for what we do. We're on fire. Wir brennen, we are burning für das, was wir tun, for that which we are doing. So when you translate German literally to English, it doesn't necessarily convey anything sensible. You have to understand how these words go together. So we're burning, we're on fire for what we do. We're hot, we're passionate about it is another way to do it. I mean, you could say that even about a girlfriend, that you're really in love with. Ich brenne für sie. I'm burning for you. So you see it in Passau often? Yeah, I've heard it runs in southern Germany. Now, there's another one, which is Flammen und Stahl, which also has the flame livery. Flames and steel, Flammen und Stahl. Anyhow, let's put these guys back in motion. Now, this one is a Roco, and I don't have the lights on right now, but it has a built-in slow startup. You don't just crank it to 100 and immediately goes. Even if you crank it to 100 right away, it does a slow speed step. So who else? 218. I'll put some more in motion gingerly. Oh, right. Out of the way, out of the way. I'm going to leave that guy sit for now. Well, hi there, Tim JD. Hey, hi, Greg. How are you? You went to Iceland. Joyce would like to go to Iceland. But yeah, I'm very I'm getting confident here. I think the new internet is going to work. Half an hour, 32 minutes in, and I haven't dropped a frame yet. Now, the big deal is the two reasons we switched. Okay, so we've gone to Verizon Internet because our phones are Verizon, and people can like or hate Verizon. I'm not worried about it. That's why we're giving it a try. But Verizon said, if you do your home internet with the phone, they'll save us money over our separate company. They bundle it all. But the biggest thing is, like, where I am paying for YouTube TV, I get YouTube free on Verizon Internet. So that saves me $75 a month right there. Because we dropped our cable and everything. We just went to YouTube TV. It gives us all our local channels and all the channels we would watch on TV anyhow. So instead of $300 a month cable, it's... Plus we get the Disney bundle, which is Disney, Hulu, and ESPN Plus for free. We get Paramount for free. We get a discount on Amazon Video, which we pay for already. So it cuts our... So we save about $150 a month. But the other big thing is, and I'm going to try this eventually later, is that my local cable company only gives us right now 10 Mbps up. We get 400 download and 10 upload. 400 download, 10 upload. And when I do my live stream, I'm uploading at about 7.5 right now. And there are times, because we used to only get 5, and then we went to their max program and got 10. If I'm a corporation, I could get 20. And I've got friends in the UK, they're like, we get 100 up. You guys only get 10? Yeah, we only get 10 locally. AT&T promises 20. But AT&T, at least in this part of the country, is a joke, and they have crap customer service. So anyhow, we elected to, Verizon offers us 100 up. So I could actually start taking all my 4K cameras and actually broadcasting them in 4K, or even do a 4K live stream, because you can do 4K live streams on YouTube. I saw a couple of channels where there's like, oh yeah, YouTube doesn't allow 4K live stream. Yeah, it does. It does your internet and your system allow it. OBS would allow me to go up to 4K, but that's a lot of information. I would go from 7 to like 70 up. You'd multiply by a factor of 10. So I'm trying to, I'm going to slowly see if I could actually do a 4K live stream. All right, take care, Jason. Thanks for stopping by. Hello, Ian. And like I said, I won't be on more than another 10, 15 minutes just because I have Wednesday things I do, but I wanted to test this new, and the biggest thing was it going to live up to it? Because where I used to have the modem here and my computer was hardwired into the modem, straight to the modem, now the modem is upstairs and I have a cable that was already preset in the wall of my son's bedroom. Because when my son got older, actually moved out and then he moved back in. And when he moved back in, he asked could he have an Ethernet cable in his bedroom. So I drilled a hole in the floor in the basement here and ran the Ethernet cable up through the wall and then put an Ethernet mount there. So I plugged the modem box. I put it in my son's bedroom, the new modem box in my son's bedroom, ran the Ethernet cable to that plug, and then there's a secondary plug that's here that used to connect to the modem. Well, now it connects to my computer and my Central Station 3. So I was really worried that by putting the modem in my son's room, that the signal wouldn't be as good, and even hardwiring it. But so far, since I converted the whole house, now we've been slowly converting, like my laptop computer, the living room TV, bedroom computers, but my daughter's stuff, her video games and that, have been on the old system. And this down here has been on the old system. Now it's on the new system. Wow, yeah. Hey, James Galton, nice to have you. Well, hello, Enya Ariti. Welcome in, or Enya. Welcome in. It's not your first time here, but sadly I'm not remembering the name. Yeah, so you get 40 down and 5 to 6 up. Yeah, because we paid for 400 down and 10 up. Although there were times where I could be going 11 up. But then there'd be times where I'd only be doing 5 up because somebody messes with the access box out here for the cable company, and it would do a reboot, and it always rebooted our account back to the 5. So all of a sudden I'm doing a live stream and everybody's like, you're buffering, and it's like, I'd go check and like, yep, I'm only pushing 5. I'm trying to run 7.5 through, but only 5 is going up, and that's where you get your buffering and all that when you're trying to push more signal through the gateway that's open. So if the gateway's only 5 and I'm trying to cram 7.5 through it, it backlogs, and that's where you get the buffering. Usually the audio can get through, depending on how big the backload is. The audio will get through and the video will mess up. If it's too much, then the whole system will crash. Now see, Todd, that's amazing. You get 100 down and 30 up. Now, we did get 400 down, but only 10 up. Now, supposedly, they are going, our company we just cut off from, they were going back to fiber optics and some new tech through our neighborhood, and that would get us up to 50 up. 500 down and 50 up. Unfortunately, they're not scheduled to do that for 2, 3, or more years in this neighborhood. And I'm tired of fighting the resets and that. Our cable company's been excellent. Buckeye Cable System here in Toledo, Buckeye Broadband as it's now called, but it was Buckeye Cable System for 40 plus years. They are excellent customer service. They're very good, and price-wise, they're fair. And they're better than any of the big national chains like AT&T that come in. But they are falling behind in the technology department because they're a small, locally owned company. So for them to convert to digital and fiber optics, it takes a little more time and work. We did have constantly our account would reboot and they'd take us back down to 5, even though we're paying for 10. But really, the reason we're moving is Joyce is Scottish and she's saving $150 a month, and for me, it's the we're getting 500 down and 100 up now for $150 less. So, yeah, it was a tough decision. Joyce and I are very loyal people. If we like someone or something, we're loyal to them. They would really have to screw us over. But unfortunately, Joyce also is half Scottish, and that stereotype Scottish frugality. 150 a month, honey, let's change. Yeah, Tim, we're talking internet. Basically, the numbers are how much information you can download. In other words, you go to YouTube. When you watch a video on YouTube, you're downloading information. You're downloading data. Okay? And how much data can be transferred to you is what we're talking about. So 400 down means 400 millibytes of information per second. So if you've ever had to, in the old days, ever had to download a video, and if you remember a 2-hour video you were trying to download would take 5 hours. Today it takes 20 minutes to download it, because back then download speeds were 40 or 50 a minute. Now they're 400, 500 or more a minute. And then upload is what I'm doing. When I do a live stream, when anybody live streams here, I'm sending information up to the internet. And the technology for sending up is a little harder than the technology for taking down. And so you can't send as much information. You got rid of Sky? Yeah. Well, that's what we did. A couple of years ago, Joyce and I finally ditched the cable because we didn't do satellite. We just ditched the cable and went with just all internet and went with streaming services for watching television. But we realized we don't watch a lot of television. I watch YouTube. The only time I watch American television anymore is when my teams are playing. I can watch Liverpool play soccer. I can watch the Cleveland Browns play American professional football, or Ohio State play American college football. That's interesting, Flymo. Yeah. Well, again, and you can only go with what the local services offer. I mean, yes, Tim, I am running 2 freights today. Now, again, I'm not going to run these too much more. I got to test run them in, so I am test running. And other than some early glitches with the container freight, I'm also running, you probably didn't see it, and my cameras are probably messed up. See, I haven't even moved trains on the floor. Whoops, didn't want to do that. No, not that either. Come on. What camera was I trying to go to? Well, whatever it was, I missed it now. Yeah, I got to reset this camera because I bumped it. And I got to reset that camera because I bumped it. So you might see the Flying Scotsman is there. I was going to let you try to catch the firebox working it, but I didn't have this turned around. Good enough. Well, I'm still spoiled, Tim. There's enough on TV, like movies and such, that I want to watch, whether it's streaming services or what have you. So I got a 75-inch TV. In the bedroom, it's a 42-inch TV. On my wall up here, it's a 36-inch TV on the wall behind me. We got a lot of TVs in this house. My daughter has a 39-inch TV in her workroom, and then there's a 36-inch TV in my son's bedroom. That's just it. Tim doesn't have a TV. Oh, I don't know. Oh, you might see it flickering there. You'll see there's one train I'm not running. I already ran that one in. I've got to adjust that camera. See, these cameras get bumped either because the cats get on the TV and bump into them, or when I'm working on something, I bump into them. I do love this. This little 4-car double-decker unit. It's called a Twin Dex Vario. That came into service about 7 years ago in Germany. So technically, for the German rail system, it's relatively new. It's a Twindex Vario. And Todd, it's both. So if I do this, let me go to this camera. This that you're looking at now, this is a rough draft. That station is an actual station in Germany. That is the town of Delmenhorst, or as they say in Germany, Delmenhorst. That is the town of Delmenhorst, and it's the station and the bus area. And other than some plant lines they have in that area, it really is just a big concrete area there with some parking. There's a couple of little, there used to be a Turkish kebab shop, which would have been about right there. No, it'd been about right here. Turkish kebab shop, there's some parking here. But it is a large parking area, concrete area with, then they have some cement lined tree banks along the side. So eventually I'll get that in, but I'm trying to put the Fowler car system in there. I had it working 4 years ago, and then I tried to make it all automated, and I haven't been able to get it work right since. And I'm actually just started working on it again today. But yeah, so that is the city of Delmenhorst. It's in the area, it's kind of a suburb of Bremen. It's about 9-10 miles west of Bremen. But I am an honorary citizen of the city of Delmenhorst. I did a student exchange program with a school in Delmenhorst. My students went over there, and their students came over here. We did that from 2003 to 2016. It died out because my side, long story, but they kept trying to cut foreign language programs, and they kept cutting kids coming into the foreign language programs. And it was a long fight, but finally I just couldn't get enough kids to volunteer to go anymore. Because we had to have at least 10 for the program qualifications. And, so that is based on an actual area. It's northern Germany, it's very flat. And then my other side of my table, over here, I call this, and this is nothing close to what it will be someday. This is based on, it's going to be a combination of Bremen and Hanover. It's sort of be a mixed Bremen-Hanover, which are two of the main junction points in northern Germany. But I run Austrian trains, which would never go to Delmenhorst. They actually would go to Bremen and Hanover, but they would not go to Delmenhorst. I run Czech trains, which would never go to Delmenhorst. Again, they would come up to Bremen. I've got, so German, Austrian, Swiss, and then I do have one British train. I have the Flying Scotsman, which is just going off screen at the bottom of the screen you're looking at down here. And I haven't adjusted the cameras. I also have a fake American train that I run on this layout. It is a German-style train done with the Amtrak logo. And then on the floor, I have UK trains. And the reason the UK trains are on the floor is because they left, they left the European Economic Community, so I separated them. No, sorry, that was a silly political joke. Hey, Jean Ricard. No, if you read the title, it's a test stream because I have completely overhauled my internet and switched internet companies. So I was testing it. Oh, we actually did drop some frames here for a second. We're now up to 58 frames dropped. Now, that's no big deal. That's not even 0.01% of how many frames I put up. But anyhow, so I try to limit it to, because the only trains I know are Germany. From 2003 to 2019, my wife and I were in Germany every year. because once our exchange program left, we still had the money being set aside to pay our airfare over, so we just started traveling on our own. So 2017, 18, 19, and then COVID hit, so we couldn't travel in 20 and 21. And then 2022, we talked ourselves into going to the UK, and then we went back to Germany in 2023. This year we went to Australia. Next year we're back to Germany. But anyhow, so yeah, I run mostly Central European trains. I do run a special system everybody in here knows already. It is called the Märklin C-Track. Märklin is actually the largest model train company in the world by name. In fact, Märklin is such an influential model train that in Sweden, the Swedish word for model trains is Märklin. When you say Märklin in Swedish, you're not just talking the company Märklin. It's like Band-Aid in America, where an adhesive strip or a bandage became known as a Band-Aid. The name brand just took over. The test is not working. Well, Richard, yeah, I have had some Fridays or Wednesdays where I've finally been free, and I've been missing you. I hope you're well. I hope you're doing okay. So, yeah, it just, but Märklin, first of all, it's 3 rails. So let me stop everything here, because I shouldn't say the noise. It's not bad. It's actually soothing, but it does distract a bit. So most people in here have seen this, Todd, but I will show this to you. Märklin is the biggest company, biggest model train company in the world, but they dominate Europe. But Märklin is 3 rail. Now, this is HO scale. This is all HO scale. So let me go to the solo cam. I know most of you guys have seen this a million times. I apologize. But this is called C-Track. Märklin makes 2 types of track. There's a 3rd type of Märklin track, but it's old stuff, and they stopped making it 30 years ago, called M-Track. And M simply means metal. And this is C-Track. And it's pre-bedded. Now, the bedding doesn't necessarily look realistic. However, there are parts in Germany where the ballast is this color. It does look like that. But anyhow, when you look at it this way, now you can see all those, we call them nubs down the middle. That is actually the 3rd rail. And that's your pickup. That's your power pickup. That's your hot. Where in 2 rail, one side's hot, one side's neutral, positive and negative. In Märklin C-Track, the 2 outer rails are your negatives, and your positive, your hot, is that 3rd rail. And the thing is, see, if you look on the bottom of the rail, there, that little bar, that is a metal bar that's connected. So this all snaps together, and it's AC power, it's 3 rail, and it's AC, which means it's a more efficient power transfer. And also because your 3rd rail is the hot rail, you don't have to worry about isolation or insulation and reverse loops. Also, this entire layout you were just watching, and I'll go to the big screen here for a second just so you can get an idea of the size here. Where are we at? Long view, there we go. This entire table is run by 2 wires that are plugged in right over here, that 3rd rail in from me. So I'm sitting here, there's 1, 2, 3. It's all powered by 2 wires running from my control station right here to that 3rd rail. Now, I do have additional wires. For example, what you can't see way over there is a parking area for all my big high-speed trains. And that has an additional booster wire running over to it. And then the parking area in here now has a booster wire going to it. But otherwise, all of this is powered. There's no bus wiring going underneath. There's no wiring every foot. I don't need it because of the way AC power works. This big a layout I can run with my one controller, which puts out about 19 volts. At its hottest, this runs about 2 amps. I think I'd have to check my thing. But I can run trains in all different directions. It's all connected. I don't have to worry about things being isolated. So changing lanes and having reverse directions, even though I don't do that, the potential's there. So it's set up nicely to. It's just a great system to run, and it's digital for dummies. Miraklin has all their trains are digital. Under their Tricks name, they'll release some analog 2-rail stuff. So yeah, it's an amazing system, and you know they're most Europeans that run Miraklin love the C-Track. There are people that don't like it. There are people who aren't familiar with the Miraklin system. They look at the C-Track and they hate it. But the nice thing is, for example, if I wanted to, let's go back to that cam again. If I wanted to digitally operate this switch or turnout or point, whatever you want to call it, the way this is designed, the motor fits underneath it here, as does the decoder. You wire it right there, and then the controller reads it. You don't have to do a drop down. You don't have to do a drop down and do the various types, Insel Frog, Electro Frog, blah, blah, blah. You just add the motor and the decoder underneath, and it's a digitally operated turnout. And that's all the wiring. No drop down wires to a main wire. It connects under here, and then you plug the adapter wires into these shovel noses here, and it's all wired and digital. And my central station reads it, and I can manually operate them. In fact, I will see if I can pull this up. Do I have it set up? Do I? I may not have it set up. Did I not open it today? Well, I'll open it now. And then I will show this to you. Where are we at? Let's go OBS, back to OBS. All right, let's go to Windows. On my screen here, Windows. And don't worry, it's blank. I'm still up here in the corner. There it is. Boom. Okay. Now I got to shrink it. But my control system also works on my computer, so I can do all sorts of fun things on my computer. But that's my control system called the Central Station 3. But then up here you can see my turnouts, which, for example, there's left one, L1, L2, L3, L4, because they're on the left side of the layout. And to operate them, I would have to, whoops, I'm clicking on the wrong screen. I don't want to do this while they're running. That's the problem. But yeah, I would just click on them. Whoop. I would just click on these and they will open or close. I have them all open right now because I'm running trains on every line. So hey, Ian, how are you, Ian? Rick's Trains, hi. I'm actually just getting ready to wrap everything up here because I've been going for an hour, and I really didn't want to go that long, and I certainly didn't want to run the trains that long. So I am going to start. I don't want to make anybody feel personal about it, but yeah, I lose track of time when I get yakking. And but these will all be here Friday. Yeah, hopefully we're not too run in. Hopefully things will be smooth on Friday. But yeah, yeah, all new internet, and I just wanted to give it a test run. And hope Clive didn't mess with your mind. Hey, Hot Dog Pilot Andy is here. Hey, Sir Andy, how are you? But yeah, the Miraklin system, again, the downside is if you want to run Canadian stock, well, let me rephrase this. Miraklin makes this kind of track for two rail. Miraklin owns, for example, they release G scale stuff through the company LGB. Miraklin releases HO and 1 scale. They own a company called Trix. Trix releases HO in 2 rail DC. And again, the problem is a lot of people hear DC and they're thinking analog versus digital. DC as in 2 rail system, 2 rail powering, direct current system. And then a lot of people use the term DCC to mean digital, the opposite of analog. The problem is DCC is just one of many digital programming languages, however you want to phrase it. Miraklin has its own called Miraklin Motorola. But anyhow, if you like something you see by Miraklin, you could get it in Trix. Miraklin does make some American stock. They usually release at least one American locomotive or set of rolling stock a year. They just did a whole bunch of ES-44s in different liveries. They did a couple of Union Pacifics. They did the Kansas City Southern, and then they just did a Heritage Pennsylvania Railroad because there's a class ES-44 or whatever it is that's in Pennsylvania Heritage livery. So they've done that. And they've got old F7 Santa Fe war bonnets, Super Chiefs. And they do release American. They have not released a Canadian. They've only released one British, and that was a Flying Scotsman they released 2 years ago, which I've got. And then I found some old Lima HO British stock to run with it, passenger cars. There are rumors that they're going to potentially release a Mallard in the next year or two. I've been hearing scuttlebutt that somebody who works in Miraklin is saying somebody has suggested they do the Mallard now. We'll see. But that's the downside of Miraklin is it's mostly German. Although Miraklin does release some other European stock, especially Scandinavian, some French, not a lot of Belgian or Luxembourg, although occasionally. But then there are other companies, Roco, Pico, P-I-K-O, that make stock for Miraklin and 3 Rail. They release all kinds of European international stock. But again, not a lot of North American stock. Yeah, and they just released, Miraklin released the Ontario Northlands. It was expensive, and I kind of wanted to buy it. They also released the Dutch Koploper about the same time, and I really would have liked them, but I already had some things on pre-order, and I just couldn't drop the money on those, because they are expensive. Is Rick taking off? All right, Rick, thanks for popping in. John, welcome in. But it's the thing is, if you wanted to go digital and you didn't care what country you're on and you're fine with European, Miraklin it's a great way. Now this track is much more expensive than your standard non-pre-bedded track, but what this track does saves you time and hassle down the road, because again, you don't have to run drop wires everywhere. The only time you're going to do drop wires is if you want to run block detection. But in terms of power, to make sure your layout, this is about as big as you want to go without adding a few extra. But basically, you direct wire rather than running one wire along and popping it up every so many feet to connect. Miraklin sells extension wires, and you plug it in from one track and then just snake it over and then plug it in underneath to the next track. So you don't have to run drop wirings. You just run it from one of the tracks nearest where you plugged it in and then just connect it at another track further down the line under the table, and then drill a hole and connect it up into that track, and it gives you the consistent power. It's an easy system. It's a great system, but it is German. It's you're going to run European trains on it, or they do have a limited stock of American. Now, they've been doing American stuff. You can find a lot of American steam locomotives. Miraklin once did a GG1, but a lot of that stuff's older, and a lot of it is also analog, but it's 3-rail. The other thing is anything that's rolling stock on Miraklin, if it's metal wheels, don't put it on your DC system because it will short your system out, because Miraklin rolling stock does not have insulated wheels like 2-rail does. 2-rail has insulated, so you don't create a contact between the two rails when you put the metal wheels on. Miraklin doesn't worry about that, so their stuff's not insulated. Other German companies, their stuff tends to be insulated. Because I can take anything DC stock-wise and put it on my layout and run it, except for locomotives. Locomotives won't work because they have to have the pickup shoe. Here's an example. This is actually a motorized, actually that doesn't have the pickups on it. Do I have a loco here? Oh, here's the silly one, the toy one. But yeah, all Miraklin 3-rails will have this. It's called a pickup shoe, but a lot of us just call it the ski. And that's your contact. And because that ski is so long and goes across multiple of the rail, it gives you better contact than your standard 2-rail pickup wheels. So with that ski there going across a lot of these run along the rail, it's a cleaner, more consistent, better contact. So there's a lot of advantages to it. The disadvantages there is in HO, obviously, there isn't really anybody. MTH made American locos in 3-rail to go on the Miraklin system. MTH did make some 3-rail stock. Yeah, the biggest thing I am doing is I've got all my internet stuff. You can't see it, but I can. It's all on the bottom of my screen here because, again, this was just a test run to see how well my new internet's going to work, because for the first time since Joyce and I have been married, other than for the year or so we lived in Cleveland, we have ditched our longtime internet company, which, heck, my dad started subscribing to in the mid-'70s. And when I moved out, it was my internet company. And then Joyce and I got married. She moved in with me. And then we moved to Cleveland, came back. And once we came back, so we've been with Buckeye Cable, Joyce and I as a married couple, for 37, well, let's see, moved back to Toledo in about 35, 36 years. Uninterrupted. And that's an apartment, a house, and a rental house, and then this house. 31 years almost in this house, where we've had the same internet company, and we finally talked ourselves into ditching them, and for no other reason than we're getting $150 a month off by going the way we're going, and we're getting better upload and download speeds. Whether customer service and such will be as good, because the customer service from our local cable company was the best. Call them up on the phone, problem solved within 20 minutes at most. Hey, John Benicki, how are you? But yeah, I mean, that's, that's why this channel is one of many reasons why I call this channel the Model Train Outsider. And I get people joking, you've got 2,000 subs, you're not an outsider anymore. And I'm like, no, I still feel like an outsider. I'm an American who got into trains a few years ago. I didn't grow up with trains. I didn't play with them as a kid, where most guys into trains did. I'm an American who runs German, where Americans tend to run American. I run 3-rail, where almost everybody runs 2-rail. And I don't take the hobby seriously. I just try to have fun. And my channel is all about insanity, where we do like the Matt Clark Cowboy series and the parody songs, the model train parody songs Joyce and I do. I write them, and if I'm lucky, she'll sing them. If you're unlucky, I sing them. Yeah, so it's just, if nothing else, I like to think my channel's a little unique in the world. But anyhow, be that as it may, I want to thank everybody who popped in. I mean, I guess I could stay and chat. I'm not going to... You're an outsider too. You don't operate and collect trains like the hardcore modelers. Yeah, well, if all outsiders got together, I guess we'd be the insiders of an outsiders club, which is what the Knights of the Rhomboid Table really is, isn't it? Yeah, I made the mistake of I got my loops in before I started doing my scenics, so my scenics really haven't changed much in, I'll say, it's been 2 years since I did anything drastic with my scenics, and I really have to finish them and get to work, but I am starting to work on the follow car system again, and one way or the other, hopefully within the next month, depending, something could happen tomorrow that sets me back. But basically the goal now is if I can't get it to work the way I want it to work, I'm just going to go back to the static manual operation. And I'll just have to put some buttons up. And then if I want the bus to go into the bus station, button, 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 button. Just make everyone button, button, button. Make it stop and then go from there. But anyhow, that's there are people who've been on this channel for years. No, nothing's changed. Although even this week last week I added a couple of buildings to it. All right, take care, Alan. Yeah, the great irony of that. You must all think for yourselves. We must all think for ourselves. You are all individuals. We are all individuals. I'm not. I know you're the Messiah. I've met quite a few. Great movie. But yeah, it's Americlan is a great system. For the most part, high quality models. And the thing is, like in any realm, there's hardcore Americlan lovers, and then there are people that, because Americlan is so big and because Americlan was so dominant, they hate Americlan. But it's, they've done all right by me, and their digital system is as easy to learn as pie. Again, I watch guys that bought a new loco and I'm going to set the decoder and I'm going to do this. In Americlan, it's all set up. Literally, when I want to add a new train, if I buy a Americlan and usually a Roco and Brava, all I have to do is set it on my programming track right here, and within 10 seconds, it's loaded. I don't have to set anything. I just set it on, boom, it gets read. And the decoder automatically gets read, all the CV values are set, all the functions are set, and it's ready to go. 10 seconds, maybe 20 seconds, it's on. Every now and then you'll have to change the address. Like if you get a company, get a new loco from a non-Americlan company like Pico, when they make stuff for Americlan, everything's preset to address 3. So all you do is load it in, it says address 3, and then it will say, you have a conflict with This train already set to address 3. Do you want to change the address? Yes. And all I literally do is I click on the address, I change the number, I click OK, address is changed. That's it. I don't have to do anything too drastic. It's a great system by me. Sure, there are downsides on some things. I mean, because I don't know how to take care of my trains. I'm learning, but that's why I buy new. I tend not to buy used because I know how to fix electronics, but when it comes to modern model train motors, I'm lost. I always have to send them off to my guy to get them fixed if something goes wrong. Hey, did I see Simon from SJ Train World's here? So, yeah, I just wanted to test the new internet, and right now I'm going to say it's done well. I dropped 58 frames when I am doing over 7,000 a second. 7,000. I am uploading over 7,000 millibytes a second. And in an hour and 18, well, almost 19 minutes, I've dropped 58 frames. Now, normally I get through a live stream and drop 0 frames, but because how this is now set up, I was expecting to drop more frames. So this is actually pretty good. And it's been 58. It was like for over half an hour, it didn't drop any frames, and all of a sudden, I had one little hiccup. But yeah, so we'll see if it can go 3 hours on Friday, and then if I get comfortable with it and trust it, I'm going to start amping it up and start doing some, because right now I broadcast in 1080p. That's one advantage over StreamYard. I can do full high definition instead of base high definition. StreamYard, you have to do their really higher end subscription to broadcast in 1080. OBS is free, and I broadcast in 1080, but I can bump it up to, I can go 4K or 8K. It's just, do I have the upload strength through both? Do I have the computer to handle it, and do I have the upload capability with my internet, which technically I'm supposed to now, because this is 100 up instead of 10 up. All right, well, with all that waffling and babbling said, I'm going to go ahead and end this. I was on longer than I planned. I originally planned on 20, 30 minutes, but hey, people come in and I start talking. Hi, Andy Dobson. You got plenty of water and Powerade with you. Because, yeah, now having done all this, everything will go wrong on Friday. That's just the way it's going to be. But I wanted to test it and go in Friday relatively confident, then go in Friday and find everything screwed up. But yeah, definitely this old box is gone. This is our old modem router combo, and the old cable line when we had cable. But this was wired straight in from the house. So the cable line came in through here. The coaxial came in through here. And then, so this was the Wi-Fi, and it came through the cable line here. And then I was hardwired straight to my computer from here. So that's why the Wi-Fi could fail as long as the main line. So the house Wi-Fi could go down, but as long as the main Wi-Fi through this was working, I could stay on. But, so now it's going to be a little different. But at the same time, there's nothing out there to knock, because what we're doing is we have a 5G reception box, and the 5G box casts a 5G signal, which also carries their 5G Wi-Fi signal. So there's no box out there to get run into like the other one did, where I'd be live streaming and all of a sudden lose it. Somebody took out our internet again. They took out the pole, which is very badly placed for the neighborhood. Because when you've seen my live stream go down, that is because somebody hit the pole again, which gets hit once a year. All right, so anyhow, everybody, take care. I will see you on Friday, 3 o'clock United States Eastern Daylight Time. That's 8 p.m. UK time, 2000 hours UK time, 2100 hours in Western Europe, Central European time. So until that time, I'm going to thank all of you who popped in to say hi. Thank you for popping in to say hi. And I mean, I could have done this in private, but again, I just want to see if it could handle a bit of a crowd and all the cameras going. So that was nice. All right. Take care, everybody. I will see you. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss and happy trains. Take care.